So a league change for Kaio Jorge, moving up to Feyenoord in the Netherlands. Interesting to see that his stats haven't improved quite as well as you'd probably have hoped. A decent player, can play left and right hand side now, rather than just a striker, so a bit more versatile. Certainly pretty well rounded when it comes to the mental and physical stats. Nothing that stands out really though. Some decent dribbling and finishing, but 23 years of age still, so still room for improvement and to develop. Let's take a look at how that move happened. So he did end up playing 20 games and scoring 10 goals for Santos in that year before moving to Feyenoord for 9.25 million, which I think really is a bit of a bargain for a player like this if he does perform at the level. He's had double figures in 2 years when he first joined the club, but has dropped off slightly. Possible injury here in 23-24, where he only made 16 appearances, and that maybe has affected him over the last few years. Milestones wise, he did win the Santos South American Recopa winners, as well as the Copa Libertadores with Santos there in 2020. So interesting to see that, certainly. Not sure he'll be getting into the Brazilian national team, especially as he hasn't got any youth caps as of yet, but be interesting to definitely see how that progresses. But we'll jump another 5, see if he can kind of up his game, perform a bit better, or if he head backs to Brazil. So Newcastle is his current club at the age of 28 years old, valued at 39.5 million, and is in fact wanted by Aston Villa. So he must be doing something right. We'll have to take a bit of a deeper look into that. Looks a decent player now. There's a few more stats that have increased there. Bit more well-rounded with better crossing, technique, penalty taking and passing is okay as well. So I'd say, yeah, definitely a decent squad player for a Premier League side with this style of player. Can play a bit more naturally on the right-hand side as well now with a bit of pace, so you can definitely do that role comfortably. Let's take a look. So it looks like he was at Feyenoord for those few years. Obviously didn't perform too well. Went back to Brazil with Flamengo for 11.75 million. Did reasonably well. That's got him a move back to Santos for 3 years, where he started to really perform again for 18 million. And even Santos were able to make another profit on him of £250,000, selling him to Newcastle in the Premier League, where he has effectively flopped with only 2 goals in 12 games and 5 goals in 22 in the last 2 seasons. Similar to one of their most recent Brazilian strikers that they've had, which haven't performed quite to the level they'd probably hoped. But I am a little disappointed at this stage with his performances. I thought he'd perform a lot better than he has. But we'll jump ahead again, see where he's at in a few years' time. If he has able to kind of get better like a fine wine, the longer he's gone on playing, maybe the better he gets. But we'll jump ahead, see where he's at and go. Okay, so we can see that he has moved to Fuenlabrada. Interesting. His physicals have dropped massively now at 33 years of age. Mentals are still looking quite well-rounded, and even his technicals look okay. They're not awful. Free kick taking, long throws and tackling aren't great, along with marking and long shots, which I guess you're not too worried about. A decent kind of target man, probably. Looks like he's had to play at left back at one time in his career, so he could be a makeshift left back if you really needed him to. Experienced striker, definitely. Valued at £15,000, so nothing spectacular. Wow, he's gone for a lot of money. Through his career, 105 million has been spent on him for a player that's really not done it anywhere, which is very interesting. He's obviously spent time at Newcastle, got sold back to Flamengo again, making a profit on him for £30.5 million. Again, I didn't really perform there. Off to Fuenlabrada for 18 million in Spain. And once again, only hit double figures in one of those years, but especially last year, did not perform at all with a 6.44 rating, playing 30 games. He's really quite anticlimactic, I'll be honest. It's not looked good for him over this time. So let's take a look. So he was Brazilian national champions with Flamengo and Brazilian Super Cup. Won the Brazilian Cup and again national first division and the Super Cup again. So he's only ever won anything in Brazil by the looks of things. Whenever he's come abroad, he's really dropped off his form. Maybe that shows you that there's a few players in Brazil that aren't that good, but certainly something to keep an eye out for when it comes to Brazilians and national teams and kind of when they move abroad, if they can really start to develop and how that works. But thank you very much for watching. I will jump again to see his retirement, but I think that may be the end of his career. It's not much of a career he's had, but we'll jump again 5 years and take a look. Okay, so you can see here that he has now retired at the age of 34. Ended up winning 9 trophies in his career. Looks like that they were all in Brazil, nothing away from his home country. He did end up moving to Russia with Rostov and playing 11 games for them, but I can't imagine he's really performed that well there either. Can we see how much he maybe went there for? No, doesn't look like we can see that. Made 11 appearances though, as we're aware. All trophies coming in Brazil. So kind of a bit of a letdown. 436 appearances, 126 goals. Nothing spectacular, but a player that can certainly, I'm sure, wouldn't be too out of place as kind of a backup striker for any clubs in the Premier League or any league similar. But someone to keep an eye out for. Possibly you could develop him a bit better and get a bit more out of him. But I hope you did enjoy. I certainly did. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and all that good stuff. And I'll catch you next time.